to episode 2 of SYNLAB's Health Chronicles. At the latter part of episode 1, we looked at some coping mechanisms for dealing with stress. With us again is Dr. Byrite Asamoah, the Chief Medical Officer of SYNLAB Ghana. Doc, you're welcome.
Thanks once again, Julius.
There was something you touched on in our previous episode having to do with sleep hygiene. I was intrigued by that. And for those that might have missed that episode, could you touch on? Gladly.
So sleep is really that one thing that actually reverses the effects of stress.
Right.
So when we talk about sleep hygiene, we're just talking about you trying to get your best sleep or the best quality of sleep that can actually really reverse stress. So it is something that you have to be intentional about. It's something that you just don't jump into bed, sleep and wake up the next morning.
Okay.
There's some people who go to sleep and actually wake up even more tired than they went to sleep.
Okay.
So this is actually a purposeful thing that you need to do. It involves sleeping at regular times, a number of things. So sleeping at regular times, ensuring that your room is made comfortable. So dress your bed, put whatever things in place that you need to put in place. You also need to ensure that you have minimum distractions. So don't sleep with music on. Perhaps some people sleep with music, so that depends. Don't put your phone on, like scroll through your phone thinking that would probably lead you to sleep. That could actually keep you awake for too long. And don't leave your TV on, because the lights, again, don't allow the brain to relax. Okay, so it's just putting all those things in place, sleeping regularly at the same time, ensuring screen time is off, ensuring your bed is neatly laid, and anything that will just give you the quality of sleep you need.
Doc, we're really in an era where people are almost addicted to their phones. So, the screen off, how feasible is that really?
It is part of what we call sleep hygiene.
Okay.
It must be off. Okay, and this is the case that you realize that you're dealing with a problem called stress. And it's, as it were, part of the management of stress, ensuring that you have good sleep. Good sleep causes you to relax. It relieves you, refreshes you, rejuvenates you. All right. So it's a very integral part of managing your stress, ensuring that you have good quality sleep.
So that brings me to my next question. What do you reckon are the lifestyle changes that can help one reduce stress?
Fantastic. So after having spoken about sleep, which is actually one of the major ones, you'd also talk about having regular exercise. Okay. Now, regular exercise is not hitting the treadmill necessarily, but if obviously you can do that, that works. But simple things like jogging or walking, swimming, and some people practice yoga. All these things help with managing stress. Now, how do they do this? So what exercise does is that it actually lowers the stress hormones, something like cortisol. So cortisol is one of the stress hormones. High levels of cortisol means high levels of stress. So exercise helps lower these cortisol hormones. It also helps increase what we call endorphins. Now, endorphins are the feel-good hormones. Those hormones that make that sort of like spice up your mood. All right. So this is what exercise does. So simple things, just taking a good walk, taking some going on the treadmill. For a period. All these exercise things that can actually help. Beyond that, exercise also helps you to sleep better. You go to bed because your body feels a little worn out. You sleep better. It also generally improves your physical health and overall helps to maintain or to control the stress that one feels.
Okay. Anything about eating habits?
Definitely. So when it comes to eating, right, we keep saying have a balanced meal. All right, but then let me just break it down a little bit. So you're talking about your fruits being part of your meal, vegetables. You talk about your whole grains. You do not want to include sugar, processed food. These things sort of like sap out, don't help with stress. And we have people who take alcohol. Yes, a little bit of alcohol is okay, but then if alcohol is in those quantities that we don't consider as good, they all contribute to stress. But the thing about eating foods with your let's say your vegetables, your fruits, the lean meats, is that they contain certain vitamins and minerals that actually support brain function,
right,
and also help in mood resilience. So it's very important to actually look into these things, pick those diets, those meals that have a lot of vegetables and fruits that have those vitamins, especially the vitamin B, vitamins, the B12, the B6, all these things help with brain function and mood regulation.
Right. And there are people that have the notion that for them to have a balanced diet or meal, they necessarily need a lot of money to support those. So basically, would you say that is accurate? Or with the little that one has, one is still able to get something that's balanced for their good health?
Our local meals are actually quite healthy.
Okay.
It's just that probably we just do too much of the starches in addition to everything that we do. But the same contomere is quite good. Our beans are quite good. So it's really just looking and investigating into which diets really help you. And we should make fruits a part of our meals. Usually we just have our fufu and goat soup, and basically that's it. We should do well to add some vegetables at a point, some fruits at a point, and get those essential vitamins and minerals that can help. Now, further the lifestyle factors, it's also important to be able to manage your time effectively.
Okay.
All right. So a person who makes it a lifestyle of managing that time, in other words, setting their priorities right, knowing the things that they need to tackle, having a to-do list, and sticking to these things help manage your time. Basically, people feel stressed when they are not in control of that time. So practicing time management techniques, effective ones, help give you control over your time and help really keep stress at check.
Right. Now I'd like us to talk about social support.
Right.
Social support, how would that help in managing stress?
Social support actually is, I'd say, very pivotal, very crucial to managing with stress. First of all, you're not the only one who's going through what you're going.
Okay.
There are other people who have been where you are. There are some people who have come out of it. All right.
Okay.
So talking about that is just telling you that there is that support network there, that social support network. There's also friends and family being around you. So these people, that's friends and family, people who have been where you are, people who are going through it, people who have come out of it, all form that form of social support that one can tap into. So the first key thing about social support is that they help provide some emotional comfort.
Right.
All right. So you have people around you who are there to listen in to your problem, who are there for you to just talk to, and even are there to give you advice. All of this goes to help with that emotional support. So it doesn't just support you emotionally, but also provide some sense of emotional resilience through what you're going through. So the key aspect of social support is that you're able to derive a form of emotional support from them. Now, another thing is informational support or information. So what you're going through as a person going through stress is that you also need certain information to be able to manage your stress. So there are support networks or support groups that can actually signpost you to certain materials about the stress you're going through. It would be mental health issues that you're suffering as a result of that. There's materials that you can go to, that even professional groups that you can tap information from. So many things under that source of information. We also have social groups or social support providing enhanced coping skills.
Okay.
So because there are people who have been where you have been, they can actually show you how to cope with the kind of stress you're experiencing. So people have gone through marital breakdown, divorce, form these groups that can help you manage or better manage your situation. So it helps basically you to be able to cope with these situations. And one thing that I like about the fact that people, who have family around them, and I'd say not just family, but a supportive family or a supportive network of friends, is that having this also reduces your reactivity to stress.
Okay.
So let's say two people face the same source of stress. You realize that one shrugs his shoulders, another ends up breaking down, crying, and finding it difficult to come out. The difference is that usually when you have this social support, your reaction to certain stress is actually controlled, because you have people to encourage you, you have people to tell you, pat you on the back and tell you, don't worry, things will be okay, as compared to that other person who doesn't have this social support network to help reduce their reaction to different stresses. So it's social support. It really is critical to managing stress and also building that resilience against the various stresses that we all encounter.
And my follow-up question is it the case that with respect to the social groupings, you have different persons who have had different types of experiences, being in different situations of stress, and so the person who is experiencing a form of stress has so many examples that they can align what they are going through to, which makes it actually very, very positive.
Indeed, so.
That's the case. Yeah. Okay. And with respect to the emotional support, would it have to do with professionals, as it were, or just family could be fine for a person? So I know with emotional support, one would want someone that would just hear them out and stuff like that. Is it the case that they want solutions, or they just want the comfort of someone hearing them out?
So indeed, the end goal is solution, right? But then it's also mitigating the impact of the stress you're going through.
Okay.
All right. So if you have people to, as it were, be a shoulder to cry on, you have somebody to hear you out, you have somebody to sort of even validate you, as in the case of somebody who is being looked down upon at work, but then the person can come to you and receive that validation, that encouragement.
Right.
It makes a big difference in managing the stress. Okay. So this is what we call the social support. Some people may feel overwhelmed because they've got children, they've got work, so they don't know how to balance these two things. So what happens is that if they have that social support or that social network, somebody can take care of their children while they go to work, and when they come back, they take care of their children. Even financial support.
Right.
At least somebody knows that, if in the worst case scenario I have financial challenges, I can go to Julius.
Right.
All right. Some people don't have anybody. So the absence of social support leaves you so exposed to the detrimental effects of stress. So it is essential that we all have that social support, that if we find ourselves in a stressful situation, there's that person we can call on to listen to us, to advise us, to even just signpost us in the right direction, or give us information, or perhaps even people's experiences that we can actually learn from.
And I'm happy that you touched on, the work and then the personal life, like having children and stuff like that, because the work-life, personal life balance, it's a thing that appears to cause stress for a lot of people. So I'd like you to help us delve into the personal life work balance and how that helps us to actually reduce stress or mitigate it.
Right. Having an imbalance in your work life and your personal life is a major source of stress. I mean, you come to work, you're so preoccupied, stuffed with work, you carry work home, and you just really don't see even the difference between your work and your personal life, because it's all just jammed together. But then truly being able to have a healthy work-life balance, apart from reducing stress, improves your general well-being in terms of your health.
Okay.
So it's very important that we actually do find a way to ensure that we all have a healthy work and personal life balance.
Right.
So the first thing truly is to set priorities. All right. You need to set your priorities what are those things that need your time? What are those things that are important to you? So once you're able to set your priorities, you're able to then allocate your time and your energy to these things. And one thing about setting priorities is that you must learn to say no. People like to push a lot of things onto you. You know, your boss pushing work to you, your colleagues pushing work to you. But you should be able to say no to the things that are not important or things that don't really have to do with you. All right. So both in your work life and in your personal life, you must be able to prioritize those things that need to be done.
Talking about setting priorities, you know how sometimes people find certain things urgent,
right?
But you examine them and realize they really are not as pressing, you know. Now, how do you juggle between prioritizing, putting some of those supposedly urgent stuff on the side and not being stressed out by the responses or the reactions of these individuals, be it in the workspace or, you know, in personal life?
So that's where it comes or boils down to being, you know, firm, you know, because this has to do with your health and the negative impact of stress. You should be able to be firm, handle those things that are important and have a deadline or urgent. Then those things that are important but not urgent, you reschedule them. Those things that are perhaps not important but urgent, you find another rescheduling for that. And those things that are neither important and neither urgent, you get rid of them. So it's being able to prioritize all these things that actually really creates that sanity and that prevents that stress that can come as a result of those workloads or expectations that are coming from both your personal life and your work life.
Right. Thank you. So, how about do we have any others apart from setting?
Most definitely. Key thing also is that we must learn to set boundaries. All right. You know, in setting boundaries, you do not want to mix work life with personal life. So you need to determine the time and the hours you're allocating to work and the time and hours you're allocating to personal time. So you don't carry your work home and neither do you take your emails home. Leave that to the work. And when you do go home, have time for your personal life. Self-care is actually a very important part of, you know, relaxing and rejuvenating. So when you have any free time, be it perhaps at work or perhaps even in your personal life, use it for self-care, use it to rejuvenate. And another important thing really is also, like I've been mentioning, time management. Time management. You must take control of your time. All right. So major thing is to always have the list of your priorities. Know which ones need to be done first and what needs to be shelved. Once you have control over your time, it also allows you to feel in control basically of your life. And the most important thing is that it really just helps you focus on those things that need your time. So time management is key. And we must also do well to take breaks. We just can't keep going on and on and on. We need to actually take breaks from our busy schedules. So for instance, if you're at work, you need to take a break, maybe a 10-minute break, walk about, grab a snack. But then those breaks really help the body relax, they help the mind relax. And actually in some companies, you actually have sleep breaks.
I think.
So you go there, there are rooms that you can just enter, go and knock off for like some 15 minutes and return back to work. These things are shown to actually help your brain recover. You know, it's like those power breaks or power naps. As soon as you catch even a 5-minute nap, you realize you're more sharper, you're more, you know, attentive than before. So we need to inculcate into your schedule, be it at home, be it at work, those breaks and those rests, you know, that help really relieve stress and really keep you going. That's very important.
Right. So from this, I gather that, you know, setting priorities is so key, because your ability to, or one's ability to be effective at managing their time still goes back to, you know, the priorities that they have, the ability to meet their deadlines while still taking the necessary breaks that will help them rejuvenate. Still goes back to
and while setting priorities, really we must also set realistic expectations of ourselves.
Right.
You know, so people have on their priority list some really outrageous expectations, you know, but then being able to see those things that are within your ability to do, you know, are very important. So somebody is probably desiring to, as well, let's in quote, build a mansion, but then you haven't even, you're still renting, as it were. Such expectations actually put a lot of strain on you. So it's to say, even at work, whatever you set as your goals, they should be realistic goals. They should be realistic things that you can achieve and attain. So the ability not to set realistic expectations actually serves as a conduit for stress to just build up, because you don't have the resources, you don't have the capacity in the immediate to be able to accomplish those goals, those expectations that you have made before you. So setting realistic expectations, both at the workplace, both within your personal life, help actually manage or probably even keep stress at bay as far as those things that you needed to accomplish are concerned.
How does one ensure that they do not get overindulgent? So, for example, a person is becoming predisposed to stress at work and then decides to take it easy, as it were. How does one ensure that they do not go overboard, you know, in trying to mitigate, you know, their experience with stress? I know whether you
that's very much the thing. You know, we have those people who like to push themselves. Those people who like to solve every problem. I'm sure they get a kick out of it, you know, but then the other side is that they're actually putting themselves through a lot of stress. You know, the negative impact of, you know, trying to do everything yourself. The truth is, I mean, as people who work and probably have colleagues and even people probably below that are subordinates, you must learn to delegate your work.
Right.
That relieves the burden of all the work that's on you. Two, if you can't delegate it really, you can seek support. Can you come and help me to get this work done? Some people find it difficult to ask for help, you know, but then these are things that you can do. Delegate your work, ask for support. If you can't do it, tell whoever gave you that work that you can't do it and that you need help to be able to do that work. So these are all ways that you manage all those overbearing, you know, responsibilities and tasks that one can have in the workplace and even at home or in our personal lives.
Right. Another related question, and you know, very importantly so, has to do with one's ability to manage, you know, stress in the working environment. You know, we've dealt with the work-personal life balance. Okay, but now we want to zoom into the work environment. So, I mean, with all the pressure, with all the targets set, you know, like in Jeremiah's case, you know, after winning an award for being the best sales manager, you know, he feels all set to go all out to do the best. His team members are looking up to him, and you know, you want to keep going. Now, within the work setting, how can one ensure that they are able to still manage stress with all those other factors staring you in the face? Because obviously, I mean, the numbers matter. So in my bid to achieve my target, how am I able to still try to manage the stress in the workplace? So I'd like us to, you know, shed a bit of light on there, because I believe a lot of the people that are listening to us and watching us would want to have solutions.
Definitely. The workplace really is a stressful environment, one where if you don't have the right techniques, as it were, you can really get stressed, overwhelmed, and over time there's something we call burnout, but I'm sure that's a topic for another day.
Sure.
So it's really important that within the workspace we are able to manage stress. Now, the management of stress in the workplace is very much like we've spoken about.
Okay.
The first thing for work is that you must have effective time management.
Okay.
So like you said, you have to prioritize your tasks, know those things that are important. You need to really know what you can do within a period of time and know really how you manage your time. You do not want to feel overwhelmed, because that's what poor time management does to you. It puts you in a state of being overwhelmed. The next thing is that within the workspace or within your time schedule at work, you should take time to have your breaks. Just take time to relax. This is actually your period for recharging. All right. You have a lot of work, your mind gets tired, your body gets tired. Just take a while, rest, just take a break, go stretch, just do something that takes your mind off, the actual work that you're doing. And this really helps you to relax generally and to be able to, as it were, refresh your mind and all that. So taking breaks is very important. The next thing is that as somebody who works, and as in every other aspect of your life, you must have healthy lifestyles. So it's about what you're eating. You need to eat healthy. It's about staying hydrated. Sometimes we get so caught up with work that we actually forget to drink water.
That's true.
Staying hydrated is important. And I think at a certain age, your system doesn't tell you you are thirsty. You actually have to make the conscious effort of taking a liter in the morning, something in the afternoon. Staying hydrated is very important. So really,
before you go on, talking about staying hydrated, help us. I'm a culprit when it comes to that. I have to admit. So how do we ensure that we're intentional about it, so that if we aim to do, say, 4 liters a day, what do you suggest? Do we do 1 liter in the morning, 1.5 after lunch?
I'll tell you what I do. I aim for 3 liters.
Okay.
Truly, we need just about 2.5 liters, maximum 3. Going beyond 3 is actually not good for the body.
Okay.
So what I do is that when I wake up in the morning, at least before I leave home, I take 1 liter.
Okay.
At 12 o'clock, I take another 500. Okay. At 4 o'clock, I take another 500. When I get home, another 500. Before I sleep, another 500. So this totals up to 3 liters. And I think that's really good for the body. So we must stay hydrated. When you're not hydrated, your muscles cringe. You feel the tightness, you feel the easy fatigue, and all this helps, as it were, promotes that stress. So as part of the lifestyle changes, we must be people who exercise. That exercise really, as it were, helps release all the pent-up stress. And like we said, it reduces the stress hormones and increases the good chemicals that help us feel or have a lighter mood. So our diets and sleeping well are all the lifestyle habits we must use. Now, the next key thing is that you must set boundaries, also in the workplaces. Don't let people encroach into your space that disturbs you. You must learn to, keep those boundaries so you can have that sanity. But beyond that, it's also the boundaries of not really taking your work items home, like I said, and also letting your personal life infiltrate into your work life. It creates commotion, all right? And at the workplace, you want to have clear, open communication, okay? So if you have any challenges, you should be able to walk to your superior and tell them that I have an issue with this. This deadline is too narrow. This workload is too much. I can't handle it, all right? Where you need help, you're letting them know I need somebody on my side or to join me to handle this task. Having clear, open communication within the work environment helps manage stress, and that is very key. All right. And finally, you could also say that, seeking support. I think sometimes it's probably a thing of trying to do it all yourself to look good, to stand out. It's good. Once you can do it within the limits of your
the Superman, Superwoman mentality, right?
Exactly. But then you need to seek support. I think at the end of the day in the workplace, it's about getting the best results. It shouldn't really be about you, the individual. So seeking support from your colleague, from your superior, from even a subordinate, or, just letting them know that you need that support to deliver on that task is very important for your own health. All right. So generally, as I've talked about, these are the things that one would want to ensure within the work environments they do to manage the stress.
Awesome. And talking about support, in terms of medical support, I'm aware that SYNLAB Clinic has the stress and fatigue clinic.
Right.
You know, you want to talk about it?
I sure would, yeah. So the stress and fatigue clinic is something that we set up, you know, seeing from our regular general clinics that we have a lot of people who come in, and when you drill down, it's all stress, all right? So you have top managers come in, people who are in the corporate area come in, and they complain about a tall list of things wrong with them. Headaches, you know, they feel their heart beating, they feel tired all the time, you know, and you just realize that when you go through everything with them, taking a detailed history, carrying out all the needed examinations, you know, doing all the checks, the blood pressure and everything, now you realize that stress is always a culprit, as it were, lurking in the background, masking as maybe some you know, problem, you know. So they come in with headaches, so they're thinking they're probably having migraines or some other form of headache. But you realize at the end of the day that it's actually stress, all right? And there are other tests that we can do that, you know, can point into the direction of stress. You know, one of the clients came on and saying that they don't know, they suddenly got low sex drive, and I mean, it's never been the case. They go like, so what could be the problem, you know? And, you know, they would have no idea that stress could be causing this low sex drive. So to them, it's a shock that, I mean, they're handling work, and yet, I mean, this is failing. So it's affecting their relationship. So we start going through, how's your work life like? Do you feel overwhelmed at work? Are you feeling challenged? Do you have any financial issues? This, that. And then you actually do find out that they've got a lot of stored up stress. You know, that is actually affecting their body. So what will the lab tests show you? You do a number of lab tests and you realize that the testosterone levels have actually dropped. This person is feeling probably chronically fatigued. You check it, their vitamin B12 levels is actually dropped. So you check their cortisol and it's a little raised or quite raised. All these things show that this person is under stress, or what we call chronic stress. And seeing these things now gives our team, when I say team, it's just not one person or two, and it's actually multidisciplinary. We have a psychologist there who will play a role. We have a dietitian who would also help. We have a general internal medicine physician who would also take care of maybe the things of the hypertension, perhaps the diabetes and all those things. So it's really a holistic clinic that looks at all the various aspects that can either be the cause of stress, so that's from the psychologist's point of view, or as a result of the stress. So that will be the dietitian coming in, the internal medicine physician coming in, or the general physician coming in to support. So it's really a clinic that at the end of it, we believe that you would come out better and hopefully come out of it with your problem of stress really solved, for you to return back to life, to taking control of your life and keeping those stresses at bay. So, I mean, we do invite anybody who feels stressed, who feels out of place but can't put a finger on what the problem is, or who feels chronically fatigued, to just visit us, and we're sure we can get a good result for them.
Great. Dr. Byrite Asamoah, as always, thank you so much for making time to be with us. And for those of you that are listening to us, and for those that are watching, please make time, pass through SYNLAB, and just stop by at the Fatigue and Stress Clinic. It will do you a great world of good.